This One's Wife, Sidelined and Seething. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yesterday in the video Grabbing Hands, I highlighted the fact that Harry and this one's wife had attended once again the Kevin Costner benefit that takes place each year for the purposes of raising funds for first responders in Santa Barbara County. Following the mass coverage of President Trump's state visit to the United Kingdom, and that he was hosted by the King, Queen Camilla, Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, at a state banquet, the best that this one's wife could come up with by way of retaliation was to post a picture of her in the garden and be seen at the Kevin Costner event. She wasn't allowed the mic on this occasion, despite undoubtedly her best attempts to try and muscle in on the action. And some video footage has made itself available which bears further analysis, demonstrating more of the behaviour of this one's wife. Before we get to the sideline part, let's have a little look at her out and about in the wild.
Mental health support is not just a resource, it's sometimes a lifeline for those who protect and serve. Our deputies, our firefighters, and our paramedics face challenges that demand...
As you have seen, this one's wife tolerating a member of the public who is talking to them. We catch the end of the exchange, and as they walk away, you can see that they're trying to leave as the woman continues to talk. Clearly this one's wife not particularly entertained by what she's listening to, and walks away, giving the lady a little pat, naturally showing her condescending nature and the physical assertion of control as Harry looks on, thinking, I wonder whether I'd do her or not. And as the gruesome twosome walk away, note this one's wife, up comes the arm, as does Harry's, as they place their arms on one another, behaving like a pair of teenagers rather than two people in their 40s. Then, as they're walking along, there's a bold man who wants to speak to Harry. He's not bothered about this one's wife, and he reaches out to shake the hand of Harry, which results in a loss of the arms around one another. But as you'll have seen, as Harry's attention is focused on the man, this results in wounding to this one's wife in that particular moment. Although it's short, it's wounding because Harry's attention as the intimate part of the primary source is elsewhere, which necessitates this one's wife reaching for his hand and then grabbing it. The hand is removed from the back, Harry's attention is elsewhere, and she has to grab him. She cannot leave him alone, and this is the manifestation of the need for her control that she exhibits, and done through a physical assertion of control. You also saw it in my video of yesterday where she was pouring at him whilst he was giving a speech on the stage as he was invited to present an award. Now there's an interesting piece of footage that has appeared that follows on from that. Take a look at this.
Peer support tent, and it was some peer supporters from LA County Fire Department, and man, they were incredible. They related to me. We had a really quick, deep connection because we both understand our job, and it led me to getting professional help, which was key. And I think that's the key part of peer support. Is it's the bridge between someone who's really struggling and getting.
Now, as you may recall, the photographs that I showed yesterday showed this one's wife stood behind Harry as he was gripping the mic. No doubt this one's wife ready to leap forward like a cobra to try and take the mic from him. And in order to try and get his attention, she continued to touch him and paw at him whilst he spoke. Now, it's not clear whether that preceded this video footage or came afterwards. Either she was dismissed or she was allowed onto the stage. I'm not sure about the sequence of events in that regard. But ultimately, it doesn't matter too much, because as you've seen in the footage, we see Harry on stage, and I suspect he's already presented the award to Fire Chief Mark Hartwig, who is stood talking as Harry listens. This one's wife isn't on the stage. No, she's off to the side. And amusingly, you can see that there are two stagehands, two organisers, two ladies, who are watching what's going on and talking to themselves and completely ignoring this one's wife. They've no interest in her whatsoever. And you can see from this one's wife's facial expression that she's absolutely hating being stood there off to one side. And what you see is the facade management straining against her desire to, one, run onto the stage and go, "Hi everyone, it's me, pass me the mic, I have something to say," or for her to express her displeasure at being sidelined. As I mentioned, it's not clear if she came on the stage later or whether she's been banished. I'd love to have seen the footage sending her off to one side. Right, you've appeared now, piss off, get off the stage, nobody's interested in you. But there she is, sidelined, and she's been caught on this piece of footage, and you can see from her expression that the jaw is jutting. The two women, no interest at all in this one's wife. She's looking across at the action. She can't help but glance towards the crowd to see if anybody's paying any attention to her. She attempts a smile, but it's not a particularly fruitful one, because what's going on is that her heated, ignited fury, because she's wounded, because she's not the centre of attention, is trying to burst through. And this is the narcissist response to being wounded. Because nobody's paying attention to her, she's not receiving any fuel, and it's threatening her need for control. So the automatic and instinctive reaction is for the narcissism to allow fury to appear, heated or cold. However, in this situation, because she's a middle mid-range type A narcissist, her facade needs to remain intact. It would result in further threats to control if she suddenly burst onto the stage and intervened. It would cause people to think, hang on a second, what are you doing? And therefore would result in further losses of control. And the facade management is there to prevent that from happening. But it's fighting against the fury which is trying to make its presence felt, to propel her to go onto the stage, to bring the attention back onto her. So in effect, there is this battle going on. On the one hand, the facade trying to stay in place to make sure she doesn't do something stupid, and then the fury that doesn't care about what she does, other than that she gets that control back. And you can see this turmoil, this tension, writ large across her face, as she glances around, half smiles, jaw jutting, looks like she's seething and then licking her lips, which appears to almost be a reaction of anticipation. Perhaps she's thinking about she's going to get hold of the mic. Perhaps she does later come on the stage. But either way, here she's sidelined. Here she is seething, because the narcissist does not like to be ignored, indeed hates to be ignored. And whilst everybody's focus is upon Harry and the man receiving the award, that means it's not on this one's wife, which threatens her need for control, starves her of fuel, and even the two women stood by her have no interest in talking to her. She's made to be like a nobody. Remember, in her head, she's the most important person in the universe, and she ought to be the one making the speech. She ought to be the one giving the award. Even though there's no relevance of her to do so, that doesn't matter in her world. She's the most important person. And here, it demonstrates how she is not. Contrast that also with the fact that hours earlier, Catherine and William were there with the gaze of the world upon them, looking splendid in their outfits at a high-profile state banquet. And where does the Duchess of Delusion find herself? On the side of a stage, looking on, ignored. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.